Iowa counties might be one of the ones that you've heard about. There's 70 of them going in. And I get to go there and keep the peace because these meetings can get pretty heated in the rural areas. And one of the things I think it's going to be a challenge for radio is the fact that when they start these projects, they have a lot more sites determined that may not get used. So they go out and may, like in our case, they have 100 actual, or I'm sorry, 70 actual turbines, but they might have secured property leases, potential leases, in maybe 120. And then as the project unfolds, they start to narrow the field down to those 70 actual sites. So a lot of moving targets there that I think we're going to have a challenge as we go forward. Now we're starting with 70. Poweshiek County, I don't know how many they have. They're going to get more. I mean, these things are going up fast. And it's kind of hard to say this is where a turbine is going to go. What they might say is here's 3 possible places a turbine might go, and we'll pick one of them. So just throwing that out there.
I think the awareness is out. The idea would be give them our microwave shots and please look at them before you.
Yep, and anybody that has asked for those, I've been able to give them that type of data. Melvin Mercado and Greg Van Hefty have been very, very good about getting us those GIS files so that we can share them with the utility companies as they look at deploying those things. So that information is in a lot of the hands of the planning section for those respective agencies. And also thank you, Melvin and Greg, for getting that to us. That's been very helpful for all parties.
Okay, you're up.
All right, well, today I'm going to do something special and very different. I have no presentations, I just got a little piece of paper here. But before I go into this, I think it's worth mentioning with regards to the wind turbines and the wind farms. By the time we're able to see them registered in the databases, it's almost too late, right? As we learned, when we went through the whole process of building our towers, 6 months, right, 6 to a year and a half. These guys have probably been working on it for years. So by the time it shows up, they've already made a substantial investment, which is why we can't wait until, or you shouldn't wait until that moment in time. It really has to happen way up front for those considerations to take place. The approach of flooding the applications is normal, because the process is so complicated that you want to have options. When we were building our towers, we tended to request FAA clearances for heights that were not necessarily the heights that we were going to use, but we overdid it just in case something changed in the design that we had to use that reserve height in the application. So in some cases, we have a 350-foot tower, and we applied for 400, right, just in case we wanted that extra 50 feet or something like that. So it's normal, and it is part of, as things start moving forward, then things start solidifying, and then you end up with the final design. So when it comes to wind turbines, that's why it's important to have a process that's defined way up front, because otherwise it becomes more difficult for them to make adjustments later on because they've already made all the investment in the process. Right? Okay, feels weird not to have my animations here, but I just had really just a few things because we're coming pretty close to the end of the project, and really not worth putting a PowerPoint presentation for that. So there are 2 aspects that remain for the construction. The first one is the completing of the hardened site. The hardened site itself is active, it's powered, and it's operational. We just have to finish, again, fencing and landscaping, and we're waiting for direction from the city of Iowa Falls. So until we get that direction, we really can't complete that particular site. And then Rock Rapids, we have a design in place, an agreed design in place, and we have the drawings. So right now, we're working on securing the resources to actually go and start doing the work. Those are the only 2 pieces when it comes to the actual construction of the system. When it comes to coverage testing, we are approved to continue coverage testing. So we're looking at, not next week, but the following week to start. So we're looking at restarting the coverage testing on 5/20, so that we can go ahead and just cover the remaining counties that weren't tested before. Once we do that, we'll have lots of teams around, scattered throughout the state, and then we'll be able to provide updates. Then I'll provide a presentation with some pictures on it so you can see what that looks like. The upgrade of the dispatch centers continues. Again, this is not an ISICS specific, the baseline system, but it's all the add-ons as well. So we got the ISICS ones done up front, and then we're still continuing to work with all the add-on projects to update their consoles as well. We're working on the generator startups, and that's just an ongoing process. And then what remains is really executing the test plan. We've been working with the state, going back and forth in different revisions. We've provided the final revision now, which addresses all the concerns. So once we get the final blessing on that, we'll start scheduling some time to do the actual functional testing, which is different than the coverage testing. Right? And then the rest is documentation. All the documentation on a per site basis and confirming that, you know, all that stuff is done. So we'll have some additional site walks with that and the documentation that supports all the work, all the studies, all the drawings, all the layouts, everything that's associated with the site. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks.